سلام به همگی. عید شما مبارک. من بوین ما نماینده مجلس در دولت از نورت ونکوور لانسدل هستم. این راوی کیلان نماینده مجلس در دولت از نورت دلتا هست. به مجلس خوش آمدید. Hello everyone, I'm Bowen Ma, MLA for North Vancouver Lonsdale and Parliamentary Secretary for TransLink, and I'm joined by my colleague Ravi Kahlon, MLA for Delta North and Parliamentary Secretary for Sport and Multiculturalism. We are your MCs for today's event. Thank you again to Darya Music Ensemble for sharing your music with all of us, and thank you everyone for joining us today. It is an honor and a pleasure to be with all of you here today to mark Nowruz. Nowruz is celebrated by millions of diverse people across Western Asia and increasingly here in British Columbia. It marks the new beginning of spring and means new day, something I think all of us can relate to with the end of winter, especially with so much snow this year. And for many, celebrations of the new year started several days ago with bazaars, fire jumping, food, and time shared with family, friends, and visiting elders, starting with the most wise. I know that West Vancouver's Ambleside Park and Coquitlam Town Centre Park were filled with thousands of people enjoying the festivities last week. It is the 29th year that the Persian community on the North Shore has shared the celebration at the park, and the 5th year for the Persian community in Coquitlam. An integral part of Nowruz is the half-seen table that you see before you. Traditionally, this is where family members gather to mark the exact moment of the March equinox and to celebrate the new year. We have been honored to have this element provided for us for our celebration today by the Victoria Iranian Persian Cultural Society. As many of you already know, the 7 main elements of a half-seen table each begin with the letter S. Sabse, which are sprouts grown in a dish and represent rebirth. Samanu, a sweet pudding that means sweetness and prosperity. Sirke, or vinegar, which represents age and patience. Senjed, dried fruit, which symbolizes love. Sib, or apples, which represent health and beauty. Seer, or garlic, as a symbol of medicine. And sumac, the spice, which represents the color of sunrise.
Okay. Another important part of Nowruz celebrations are poetry, art, and music. Here to start that off is Pari Azram Motamedi. For the past 30 years, Ms. Motamedi has interpreted, translated contemporary Persian poetry into English. She's also internationally recognized for her paintings, jewelry, custom games, and furniture. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable John Horgan, members of the BC Legislature, ladies and gentlemen, greetings, happy Nowruz and happy spring. Salam wa durud, tabrik baraye sal no. Spring is the most prevalent image and symbol in Persian poetry, due not only to the fact that it follows winter and brings new life and beauty to nature, but also as a symbol of change, resurrection, and freedom, inspiring action, vivacity, and vitality. Out of this wealth of poems, I have chosen a few lines from the work of the 18th century Persian poet Ansari, who was born in the city of Balkh in present-day Afghanistan, and who is mostly famous for his panegyric odes in praise of Sultan Mahmud of Ghazni. But in the few lines I have chosen and translated for you, he uses a language that appeals to visual, olfactory, and tactile senses to paint an image of the coming of Nowruz and spring with no political or religious connotations, nor with any specific emotion. Just an image for the reader or listener to paint in their imagination and to fill with their own feelings. The original Persian is rhythmic and melodic, but in translation, it's not possible to convey the music of the poetry. Before reading the English translation, I will first read the original poem in Persian because I feel that perhaps something is conveyed beyond the words of the language in the rhythm and music that everyone can sense. باد نوروزی همی در بوستان بتگر شود تازه صنعش هر درختی لعبتی دیگر شود باغ همچون کلبه بزاز پردیبا شود باد همچون طبله عطار پرعنبر شود سوسنش سیم سپید از باغ بردارد همی باز همچون عارض خوبان زمین اخضر شود رویبند هر زمینی حله چینی شود گوشوار هر درختی رشته گوهر شود چون حجابی لعبتان خورشید را بینی ز ناز گه برون آید ز میغ و گه به میغ اندر شود افسر سیمین فرو گیرد ز سر کوه بلند باز مینا چشم و دیبا روی و مشکین پر شود The gentle breeze of Nowruz becomes a sculptor in the garden. His artistry transforming each tree into a different idol. Like the shop of the fabric vendor, the garden will be filled with the finest of colorful silks. Like the perfumer's tray, the breeze will be filled with the fragrance of ambergris. The white, silver cover of the earth will be taken up by the lily of the valley. Once again, the earth's face will be covered with green. As if covered by a Chinese robe, the earth will be full of colors, and like earrings, strings of jewels will hang from the branches of every tree. Like veiled sweethearts, the sun will reveal itself charmingly from behind the curtain of clouds, covering up and hiding again from time to time behind the veil of clouds. The soaring peak of the mountain will shed its silver crown. Once again, its face will be covered with fine-colored silks and daisies, diffusing the perfume of musk. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mohamedi, for that art and that piece of Persian culture. Sharing music, art, and dance is one way we can both show our cultural identity and share it with the wider community. It is both a reflection of self and a gesture of inclusion. Our government is taking action to create an inclusive society in which our diverse population can participate freely, fully in the economic and social, cultural, and political life of BC. A rich multicultural society free of racism and discrimination helps nurture inclusiveness, understanding, mutual respect, something we all want and we all deserve. One of the ways we're encouraging this is through the BC Multiculturalism and Anti-Racism Awards, which took place last week in Vancouver, where Nowruz, again, was celebrated by the Vishan Ensemble. These awards recognize the work of people, organizations, businesses, and youth whose outstanding work has strengthened the social fabric of our society. Next, we are joined by the Vancouver Pars National Ballet for their performance. Vancouver Pars National Ballet endeavors to showcase how art can interconnect communities. Their work seeks to respect the origins of traditional Iranian culture while celebrating Canadian culture. Please join me in welcoming the Pars National Ballet. Can I take it? Thank you so much for that beautiful performance there. Can we give them another, please, round of applause? Well, at this point, it's my pleasure to invite to the podium the Premier of BC, John Horgan.
Thank you, Ravi and Bowen. Bowen, your Farsi is getting better every day. Well done. It is great to be here on the traditional territories of the Lekwungen-speaking people, the Esquimalt and Songhees First Nation, and it is great to say, by the looks of things, that spring has finally arrived, so that's very good news. And of course, Nowruz has arrived at the same time. Coincidence? I don't think so. It was an honor to be in Coquitlam to participate in what was, in my 5 years of participating in the Nowruz celebrations, the absolute best day as the sun went down and the full moon rose on a crowd of thousands of people coming together from all walks of life, diverse backgrounds, to celebrate the coming of spring. Thousands of people jumped the fires to burn off the dust of last year and to prepare for prosperity and health and good news and blessings going forward. And it was a truly exciting time. And of course, Nowruz has been celebrated for thousands and thousands of years. Its roots in Persian culture, to be sure, but now Nowruz is celebrated around the world by diverse cultures focused on the renewal that Nowruz represents, the notion that we can say goodbye to the past and welcome enthusiastically the future. I want to thank all the performers and contributors today for pulling off our second annual Nowruz Festival here at the Legislature. Judging by the turnout, I think we're going to need a bigger room next year. And I don't know where we're going to find that. I want to thank the Victoria Iranian Persian Cultural Society for bringing people together and doing all of the hard work of setting the half-scene table with its 7 S's that Bowen has so ably described, so I don't have to. The health and happiness and good luck that this represents is something that I believe all of us in this room can understand. I want to say to my colleagues from the legislature, from every corner of the legislature, all of us here today to celebrate the beginning of spring and the coming together of families. The half-scene table represents more than anything the coming together of families to celebrate the blessings of today and the hopefulness of the future. With that in mind, I want to talk a little bit, as Ravi did, about the inclusiveness of British Columbia. How we are all so fortunate to be from so many different places to come to the traditional territory today of the Coast Salish people. I am an immigrant from Ireland. Many of you immigrants from other parts. My father was an immigrant from Ireland. And all of us came from somewhere else with hope in our minds, hopes in our heart that British Columbia, Canada, will be the place that we could see inclusivity, we could see respect for diversity, and we could see the tolerance that we also want to reflect in our activities here in the legislature, but in every corner of British Columbia. As we think of the shadow of Christchurch and the terrorism in New Zealand, it does give us pause to know that there is still hate in the world, but encouraged by the overwhelming love that has flowed from that terrible, terrible event just 10 days ago. And it is the notion that love will always triumph over hate, that hope will always triumph over fear, that brings us together to celebrate Nowruz again this year. And so I want to honor that by presenting a proclamation to Taj Dali Run, noting the 20th of March 2019 as being a proclamation of the day of Nowruz. I'll give this to you very happily and ably and say to everyone, I wish you all a joyous spring. I wish you all a happy and healthy new year. Nowruz Atan Piruz.
Thank you very much, Premier. At this point, I'd like to invite up to the podium to say a few marks is the person who just took the proclamation, Taj Daliran from the Victoria Iranian Persian Cultural Society. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Wow, I'm so excited. It's great. It is not age, just I use different fashion eyeglasses. Honorable Premier of British Columbia, members of the Cabinet and the government, and everyone who has participated to gather us here today at the heart of British Columbia to celebrate Nowruz. We thank you. Nowruz, the Persian New Year, is celebrated by more than 300 million people around the world and has been commemorated for over 3,000 years in Persia, the Caucasus, Central Asia, the Middle East, the Balkan, the Black Sea Basin, and the Balkans. In the world of growing extremes, either of climate or ideologies, Nowruz is a reason for us to gather in unity on the new day. It is a day when children of the earth would celebrate the return of spring, interchange human values, symbolize the triumph of good over evil, joy over sorrow, and above all, create an affirmation of much needed human life in harmony with nature. هر روزتان نوروز باد، نوروزتان پیروز باد.
Thank you very much. International Nowruz Day was proclaimed by the United Nations in 2010 thanks to the efforts of several countries that share this holiday. British Columbia also recognizes the importance of this celebration. I would now like to invite Amir Bajakian forward to present the Premier with a gift that is being donated to the BC Legislature's library. Amir.
Sure, we can do that.
Sure. Hey, man.
How's it going?
Good.
Thank you all for coming here. Thank you, Mr. Premier, for hosting us here. Honorable MLAs and the staff at the Legislative Assembly and Victoria, Iranian, Persian community. Be relentless in striving for the cause of good. Be the spring you must. Banish the winter you should. Nowruz is about connecting people from the lands near and far. And for me, it's about bringing everyone together. It's not restricted to one nation, one ethnicity, one cultural identity, one religion. And for that, I thought I would bring a gift of appreciation to this place, which is the House of People of British Columbia. It is a map of Afghanistan. It is a map that was drafted by my late grandfather, Abbas Sahab. Abbas Sahab was the father of Iran's modern cartography. And he was the man who liked to work on maps. He liked to explore cultures, traditions, and connect people. Unfortunately, he passed about 19 years ago around the days of Nowruz. So with that, I thought I would bring this gift of appreciation, one of his classical maps, to the House of People. If we can open it. It's from the 1960s. And why did I bring a map of Iran? Instead of, I brought a map of Afghanistan. Because again, Iranians, Afghans, we're all the same people, separated by artificial borders. And I think we can still remain connected. Premier Horgan, please accept this gift on behalf of the Legislative Assembly Library and leave it for the people of British Columbia.
Thanks, Amir. Well done.
Don't break it out.
No, don't break it. Thanks, Amir.
Thank you so much, Amir. What a meaningful gift that people, when they visit this BC, the home of BC, will be able to share here in the Legislature's library. I would now like to welcome up Tawfiq Hamadi to offer remarks on the celebration of Nowruz in Afghanistan.
Yeah, just behind me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable John Organ, Premier of British Columbia, members of the Legislative Assembly, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. First, thank you for the generous introduction, Ravi. I would like to express my gratitude to all, especially the organizers, for so thoughtfully bringing together representatives of various communities and institutions from across our province to participate on this special occasion. On behalf of my fellow colleagues from the Ismaili community in British Columbia, I'm excited to share with you the traditions and celebrations of Nowruz, many ways in which British Columbia encourages and supports pluralism. A lot of the things that I'll say, I'm going to skip some of it because it's already been said by a few great people here before me. As we all said, Nowruz is a festival dating back thousands of years, marking the beginning of a new year and the first day of spring. The historic festival is celebrated on the 21st of March by many peoples of many different faiths and cultures along the ancient Silk Route. As Ravi said, in recognition of the importance of this ancient festival, Nowruz was recognized as part of the UNESCO's representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2009. Moreover, in 2010, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed the 21st of March as International Nowruz Day. Today, I'm delighted to share some of the Nowruz customs and festivities from my country of birth, Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, Nowruz is also known as Farmers' Day, which culminates 2 weeks of celebrations on March 21st, the first day of the Afghan New Year. While the celebrations of Nowruz was banned under the Taliban, I'm happy to say it has returned to being celebrated widely since 2001 and features several diverse traditions and customs. Among the celebrations are the Guli Surkh Festival, which literally means Red Flower Festival. People from all over the country travel to Mazar-e Sharif for this principal celebration, which takes place during the first 40 days of the year, when the tulips grow in the green plains and on the hills surrounding the city. During this time, a Buzkashi tournament is held in several northern cities in the country. This Central Asian sport challenges horse-mounted players to place a goat or calf carcass in a goal. In Mazar-e Sharif, over 200,000 people, including high-ranking government officials, come together from across the country for the Janda Bala ceremony. This religious ceremony is performed in the Blue Mosque of Mazar, which is believed to be the site of tomb of Imam Ali, may peace be upon him, the fourth caliph of Islam and the first Imam in Shia Islam. Elsewhere in the country, Jashn-e-Dekhan, or the Festival of Farmers, sees farmers walk in many cities as a sign of support and encouragement for the agricultural production. Of course, as with many special occasions, people cook celebratory dishes for the new year, including sabzi chalao, a dish made from rice and spinach, kulche Nowruzi, a special type of cookie which is only baked for Nowruz, as well as mahi wa jalebi, which is fried fish and jalebis, which is also a common meal at picnics during the celebrations. Notably, people in Afghanistan prepare aft mewa, which literally translates as 7 fruits, in addition or in lieu to aft sin, which is common in Iran. Aft mewa is made from several dried fruits and their syrups that include raisins, sinji, the dried fruit of oleaster tree, pistachios, hazelnuts, apricots, walnuts, and either almonds or another species of plum fruit. Nowruz provides an opportunity not only to enjoy ancient cultural customs, but to also promote and strengthen the bonds of friendship, peace, solidarity between the towns and communities. Children receive monetary gifts in the form of fresh banknotes from their parents and their adult family members. Above all, Nowruz is a celebration of possibility of new life. Here in Canada, Nowruz is a chance to acknowledge and to honor the many communities that observe this beautiful festival and their contribution to building an increasingly pluralistic country. In closing, on behalf of my family, my friends, the Shia Ismaili community Muslims in British Columbia, I wish everyone present here, your families, and those who are celebrating Nowruz across our great province, peace, happiness, and prosperity. Thank you, and Nowruz Mubarak.
Okay. Now I am pleased to introduce Miriam and Danielle from the Afghan Association of BC, who will share Afghan music played during the Afghan celebration of Nowruz. Now, I learned a couple of interesting things while they set up. I was in the back, and I got to speak to Daniel, and he shared with me this beautiful instrument that he's bringing up. Are you coming up now as well? Okay, he's coming up after. So right now we'll have Miriam. Please give her a round of applause.
Hello? Yes. Okay. Okay. Hello. So this is on, right? Okay. Hi guys. My name is Mariam. I will be singing for you guys today some char baitis. I'm from Afghanistan, and char baitis are essentially just short verses. They're 4 lines, and we also have the baitis, which are usually 2 lines, and they're traditionally sung in Afghanistan by women, and they're found in a lot of our folk songs. And for me, the beauty of char baitis, we were talking about this yesterday, is that there's no really identifiable author, right? So this is just something that's sung in folk tradition, and I think that there's so much power in that, because coming from a country that's a little conservative sometimes, I think char baitis then serve as a space for people to showcase resistance, and like some of them are like flirty, and it's really cool. For me, it's exciting to see all of that in a song from my country. So yeah, I'm gonna sing you guys some. I would like to emphasize, I'm not a professional singer. This is like me picking up my daira and singing at home, but yeah, so anyways, I felt like I needed to say that. Okay, let's do this. Okay. سبزی نرنگ آمدم ایمانمه آتشکی میزنی در جانمه سر به قدم های خوشنین هم خاک راحت سرمه بر چشمانمه سبزی نرنگ آمدم ایمانمه
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just gonna sing one more and then Daniel will come up to play the rumba. I don't know if we have time though. Okay. So this next one, the charbaitis I'm singing are from my favorite boy band from the 80s in Kabul. They're called Groy Baran. So I'm gonna play another one from them. Okay. گل سر چوکی شیشتم میکنه در باد هی گل سر چوکی شیشتم میکنه در باد هی ما را دیوانه کده دختر سردار هی ما را دیوانه کده دختر سردار فریاد کنم نمیرسد آوازم در گردن نازکی تو دست اندازم در گردن نازک تو دستم نرسد در گردن نازک تو دستم نرسد در خانه دشمن تو